I don't hate a lot of content creators. In fact, I don't really have a problem with anybody. Sure, there's some creators that I'm just not a fan. I don't really watch the content, but I don't have a strong enough opinion about to say I do or don't like XYZ. Even if I strongly disagree with a lot of your sentiments, I'll generally just not talk about you. But this guy, oh my God, you make it almost impossible for me to just say, his content's not for me. Which I would say if he just kind of stuck to what he knew. Streaming, acting fake gay, and kissing up to whatever rapper allows themselves to be exploited on his stream. But Adin Ross's inclusion or association, I should say, to hip-hop is just very dirty. It makes me feel dirty. It makes me feel disgusting. The motivator to this video is a clip that I saw of Adin Ross talking crazy about Dochi on my timeline. And you'd probably be like, Sean, weren't you just talking crazy about Dochi the other day? I mean, okay, I may be, but not like that. I'm always in favor of entertaining conversations about music, even if some of the conversations about the music are a little ridiculous. I try to give a little wiggle room and allow a bit of space for those opinions that we might think are a little ludicrous, because sometimes in the overall grand scheme of things, those opinions that we might think are ridiculous aren't necessarily worthless. But I like to generally keep it music. Even with all the conspiracy theories and all the preferences that we have for or not for an artist, generally, it's best to keep it music. On top of me being absolutely disgusted anytime I hear the dude's name in reference to music, I never ever actually hear him talk about music for people to so closely associate him with hip-hop. You might be thinking to yourself, Sean, people who really like rap music don't even associate Adin Ross with music, let alone hip-hop. And I would generally agree with you. But when I see publications like Complex making a top 10 hip-hop streamers list, which I am on, by the way, I'm just putting it out there, and Adin Ross is number 3 on the list, it aggravates me because it's things like this that empower idiotic statements from a guy like this and make him feel as if he can confidently spew whatever weird rhetoric, throwing out the craziest of words in his description of people that will make you scratch your head and be like, what the fuck did she do to make this nigga that mad?
Oh, dude, don't get me started on that bitch. Hey, don't get me started on that bitch. Don't get me started on that industry plant. Don't get me started. You guys can say shit whatever you want about me, but one thing about me is I'm not an industry plant. I've been streaming for like a long time now. Fuck Dochi. The umbrella clip pissed me off. What an entitled, unintelligent piece of shit she is, bro. She deserves, bro. I'm not joking, bro. Stop listening to her music. Cardi and Abel, why would you give her a feature on a remix? You shouldn't have cleared it. She's just the worst. She's a piece of shit. She stole someone that I used to know. She makes no good music. She's horrible. She has zero talent.
Now, this isn't my only issue with Adin Ross, but it underscores a bigger issue that I've been highlighting about Adin Ross since Playboy Cardi showed up on his stream a year ago that y'all showed. Dochi attended the Met Gala. She didn't want her outfit to be seen before she stepped out onto the red carpet, or wherever these people put their feet when they step out and to have their picture taken, I don't know. But yes, it's not uncommon knowledge that people would like to have their outfits and their star moment hidden until the very last second when they ultimately see the cameras in front of everybody else when they're dressing up. You don't see people posting on their Instagram stories or putting up selfies, this is what I'm wearing at a Met Gala, before they get there. Do I think it's a warranted reaction to be yelling at the top of your lungs damn near at your team, telling them, oh, you gotta give me an umbrella, make sure they don't fucking see me, make sure this, make sure that? I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's that deep. It makes you come off bratty and like an extreme prima donna. That being said, it wouldn't make me go out of my way to call somebody a bitch and a piece of shit. You stole this. I mean, you swear that she killed his parents and pissed on their grave the way he's talking about her. It only took me a second of watching that clip before I was shown another video by my algorithm of Adin Ross pressing some random black girl, saying that she enjoyed Tory Lanez music, but he didn't think it was enough for her to bow down to just the narrative that Tory Lanez makes decent music. No, he also needed her to co-sign the narrative that Tory Lanez never shot Megan Thee Stallion. And I'm all for agreeing to disagree, even if the disagreement is over something extremely stupid and easily verifiable if you learn how to read. The way he was talking down to her and trying to shut down whatever perspective that she might have been trying to bring up, to force whatever theories he's got about Tory Lanez onto her. And I'm not saying the other black people in the room had to get violent with him or nothing like that, but bro, who the fuck are you talking to? I'm sitting up here answering a question about artists that I like to listen to, and I got white boy Rick in front of me telling me that I can't have a perspective on somebody that he barely knows. There's two gigantic problems with this. One is black people have been way too and far too enabling when it comes to Adin Ross and his space, not only in hip hop, but his space in reference to how he speaks about black people. They're far too opportunistic to tell Adin Ross to his face, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut the fuck up. Hey man, you're overstepping. Chill out. A simple raise of an eyebrow in moments like that would at least show enough signs of discomfort to make him go, man, maybe I went too far with that comment. But the second issue is that Adin Ross was attempting to be the new face of the manosphere movement a year or two ago. And in that time frame, I heard him chant and parrot some of the worst ideas that you could echo to a young man's brain, the developing mind of a young male, a way of life that he himself has shown is impossible for him to live by, a standard that he parroted to his young audience. But when met with pure disrespect himself by rappers who he allowed into the comfort of his own studio on his stream, he was as silent as a mouse. His odd periodic obsessions with guys like Drake, Donald Trump, Andrew Tate, Kanye West, to name a few, are not lost on me. So Dochi is all these bitches and pieces of shit and the worst human being you can think of. What do you think the guy who's been spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric over the last 5 years is to a guy like Adin Ross, a Jewish man like Adin Ross? What do you think that he would be to him? You would think he'd be in the same category, right? Same ballpark. Even worse, at least, right? Adin Ross himself watched a music video where Kanye West promoted Adolf within it. And you know what he did? He tried to do a music review on it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, you are very creative, and you're an artist. And
wait a second. Come on, so I'm not a scientist.
Well, you're very smart. You're brilliant. But
okay, so now we're in a good place. Now, next subject.
All right. Well, what's the next subject? What else?
God forbid you don't take Daddy Ye seriously. God forbid you don't feed into his delusions for a second and not just call him out on the piece of shit that he's also being in this moment. No, of course not. I don't parrot the whole black woman is the most disrespected person in America. Though I do agree with it, I don't typically say it. What do you think would drive a guy to be so hateful and spiteful towards someone whose music he doesn't even interact with? Someone he doesn't know, he's never had a conversation with, that he saw have a bratty moment at the Met Gala. Compared to what you've seen Kanye West do, not only to himself, but to his family and to others that have associated with him over the last 5 years. She's a piece of shit, but Kanye West is worth having a discussion with as a Jewish man? The disdain I have for Adin Ross is that I don't feel any of his perspectives or thoughts are genuine. I believe he sees things trending and will give his opinion on it based off the risk profile. I don't think I've had or seen an original perspective or take from Adin Ross in any capacity. A part of it is just blatant hypocrisy and disrespect, but the other part of it is a genuine lack of fear. The reason people are so down to disrespect certain people and not others. He sees the narrative around a particular person or group and wants to say something salacious, but will only do so once he sees that a number of people have already established a narrative about this person. Somewhere, some way, somehow he feels empowered or safe to say the things that he said so carelessly, knowing that there won't be repercussion, blowback, or consequence for openly disrespecting somebody and talking crazy about someone that you don't know like that. Which to me means that the quote-unquote gatekeepers or publications or the large streaming community or the media personalities have done a horrible job at either gatekeeping, offering genuine ramifications, or consequence for people talking out the side of their neck like this. On top of that, I just think the dude's a genuine hypocrite. I destroyed my Twitter algorithm, so I'm seeing nothing but Adin Ross clips today. And I'm seeing another tweet where he's calling Anthony Fantano a culture vulture. The fucking irony.